Hi, Chef Matt here, and with Thanksgiving right around the corner, I want to show you my super easy way to carve a turkey and get beautiful slices for your table. So this is a 14 to 16 pound turkey, fresh. I cooked it at about 325 degrees, so pretty slow. I've let this rest for a good 40 minutes, and what that does is it allows all the juices to kind of settle into the turkey, get more seasoning into those big pieces of meat down here and in the back. I actually am going to start in the back here. So what I want to do is, and this allows you to get the most yield of all this breast meat in the back. So I'm just going to remove some of this skin here and put that on the side. If you like skin, you fry it up, it's beautiful. And this is where everybody likes to have the wishbone. So the wishbone is right here. You can actually see it. So what I'm going to do with this knife, and typically when I do turkey, I use 3 different knives. This is my boning knife. This does a majority of the work, gets in around those bones. This is more of a fish fillet knife, okay? So I like to use this when I take the breast meat off to really scrape right along the bone to get the highest yield. And then when I have all of the turkey off, I use my slicing knife. So back over here, what I'm gonna do is start right at the top of that wishbone, and I'm just gonna make 2 incisions. One on the inside of the bone, you can kind of feel where the bone is, and another incision right on the outside of the bone, okay? And I'm gonna do that on both sides. Again, the inside of the bone, all the way down, and the outside of the bone, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push my finger and just grab the top of that wishbone, okay? And you'll almost, there's a little piece of cartilage here, and you're just gonna pull it straight back toward you, pull it forward, okay? And then with a nice gentle tug, it comes right off, okay? What that's gonna allow you to do when you cut the breast meat off is to come right down here without hitting this bone and get all of that meat off in one piece, okay? So I'll put that off to the side. So with this knife first, what I'm going to do is follow, so this is that keel bone, right? I'm gonna follow on this one side here, and I'm gonna take this breast off. First, actually, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just make a very small incision here, just to open up this space between the leg and the breast, okay? Very simply, just kind of cut back, okay? And I'm gonna do that on both sides. So now this is gonna allow us to really take this breast off. So go slow, okay? So we're gonna make that first incision, okay? And I'm just gonna tug a little bit and kind of see how the meat is attached to the bone here, okay? And I'm actually kind of just, I'm slicing, but I'm also just kind of slightly pulling, okay? And now is when I want to switch knives. I'm gonna go with this thinner knife that bends a little bit, and it's gonna allow me to really go right around that cartilage in the bone to get the best yield. So right down here, there's a little tendon that attaches the breast. So we wanna, again, go really slow here. And just, I'm using the tip of that knife and just ever so gently bringing that, there you go. Now there's 2 different ways to do this. If you want to keep the wing attached, you can just cut, which I'll show you on this one. There's a little joint here. There's a little joint right there. So it's a little fancy, so I'm going to switch knives. And again, I'm just going to kind of go in that joint and just release the breast. Okay? So sometimes that's a nice presentation, okay? So for now, I'm just gonna put that right here. We'll take that off before we slice it. But as you can see, you know, we came really nice and close to the bone here. We're never going to throw this away. We want, after we've taken all the meat off, we're also going to use this to make a stock or a soup or something later. It's one of my favorite things to do over the weekend. Okay, so the next part, I would then take this off, but I'm going to show you the next part, which is taking this leg and thigh off. The best part of the turkey, hands down, is what we would call the oyster, and it's these two little pockets of meat. And the reason they're so delicious, it's dark meat, number one, but number two, if you've roasted this in a pan, it's sitting in all those juices, all the salt and seasoning, so they pick up all that. So it's so delicious. And when you go and take this leg and thigh off, you want to, with your knife, you want to make sure that you dig down. This is this little capsule right here. Okay? You want to dig down with the knife. Okay? And you can let physics kind of do the work. You can kind of pull this back, grab your other knife, and you'll see there's this joint bone here. This one's really easy to get off. Okay? It's okay if you see just a little bit of pink. You'll see it's got very jelly-like when it's raw, but this is perfect. Okay? So that's how we would take off the leg and thigh. So now what I want to do is I'm going to put this aside, and then I'll show you how we would slice this up. I'm going to start with the leg and thigh, and what I like to do is, so you've got two bones here, and what I like to do is separate this. So I'm just going to make an incision to kind of find that natural separation, which is right here, and make that slice. Okay? Put that to the side. This one, I'm going to separate that meat. And just, again, run that knife underneath. You want to keep the skin and the meat intact. And then you can just run your fingers kind of down and twist a little bit. Okay? Out comes the bone. And then we're going to turn that over, and then we'll slice. We'll slice everything together. Now, with this, what I like to do is just take the knife and just slice and pull. And sometimes it comes off very easily. All right. And then you can use the back of the knife, just kind of pull all this meat off. And this is what I like to just kind of pull and put underneath. This is basically all the meat that's on the bottom of your pan. Okay, now what you have to watch out for, there's these long tendons, and I'll show you on this one. See, this looks like a nice piece of meat, and it is. It's a beautiful piece of meat, but there's some little feather, what I call feather bones, and they pull out very easily. Okay, but as you go through, there's a few of them. Sometimes you get lucky and they all stick. See, like they start at the top here. So these all pretty much stuck to the top of the bone, which is great. That's what we want. And this sort of meat, what I like to do is just cut up in some chunks. And then, you know, everybody's different. Some people like to eat the skin, some people don't. Right? So we've got these nice, beautiful chunks. Okay. There we go. So that's one part, and then this part we will just slice. So what I like to do is just, again, take some nice chunks, keep the skin intact. And what's nice about doing it like this, again, even aside from it being a nice presentation, is that you can do this ahead of time and cover it with foil. And what I like to do is just leave it on the stove in a warm place to get ahead when people come. I don't want to be slicing turkey when everybody's coming over. So typically I'll do this right before my guests come over, just keep it warm on the stove, and then put it out for everyone to enjoy. Now, the breast. And this is the one I love because when you have this nice piece of turkey breast with the skin intact, nice and brown, it just looks so pretty. So the first thing I'm going to do with this wing bone here, you can put that out just intact, whole, and somebody can grab it and eat it, or you can kind of strip that meat down just like we did the thigh. But for these purposes, what I'm going to do is just kind of take it apart from the breast. Okay? I'm going to lay that out here. One of my aunts would truly love to enjoy that. And then on the breast, I'm going to start here on the thinner side, and I like maybe about 1/4 inch slices here. So again, I'm making sure my knife is nice and sharp. I'm going to cut in slight bias all the way through, keeping that skin intact. And you know the turkey has been cooked properly and not overcooked when you're cutting through and the turkey stays together. You get maybe a little bit of juice that comes out, but it doesn't fray. So right here, what I like to do is just kind of push back and forth, and you'll get those slices nice. Slide the knife underneath. I've got big hands. You can use a spatula. And then onto the platter it goes. And then you can spread it out maybe just a little bit more, okay? But again, you can put this like in a pan, an aluminum container, cover it with foil for when your guests arrive and just keep it warm, okay? You can add a little bit of stock to it, a little turkey stock, or even just a little bit of gravy and put some aluminum foil. You can put it back in the oven if you feel you want it a little bit hotter. Just don't heat it for a very extended period of time, because the turkey will dry out a little bit. So there you have it. Super simple way how to break down your turkey and slice it nice for your friends and family. And if you don't want to do your own turkey, come visit us at the restaurant, dine with us, or get one of our catering packages. Happy Thanksgiving.